Thank you for checking out Real Talk Personal Finance. Shit's about to get real. Cash Flow King with you today. And today in episode 65, we're going to talk about Southwest Companion Pass. Really, really excited for this one. Before we get into today's show, as always, a few quick announcements. First of all, missed you guys. It's been a few weeks since we put out our last episode. Things have been really busy. As those of you know, Cube Crusher and I were out in Vegas, and it's just, there's been a lot going on. So really, really excited to record today's episode. It's very timely. It's very important. It's something that I personally utilize and am really, really excited about, and hopefully you will be too. Before we get into that, some quick announcements. First, Vegas trip results. Unfortunately, Cube Crusher got crushed, and he is back in the cubicle, crushing or trying to crush the cubicle. Cash Flow King, on the other hand, generated some nice cash flow on the Vegas trip and came home a happy camper. So we'll be doing it again or I will be anyway, in a couple of months in January, mid-January. So anybody that's interested in meeting up out in Las Vegas, email the show, realtalkpersonalfinance@gmail.com. I don't think Cube Crusher will be with me on this trip, although he may come out later in the year. We're inside of a week now. I'm recording this on Sunday, November 19th. We are now inside of a week of Thanksgiving. So just want to take a moment to wish everybody and their families and friends a very happy Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is probably my favorite holiday because you can eat a fuck ton and you don't have to give anybody anything. And it's all about spending time with the people that you care about the most. So you get to spend time with friends, spend time with family. It's a holiday that seemingly everyone appears to celebrate, so you don't have to worry about people fucking bothering you and shit. It's just a really, really good holiday. So happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. Hopefully you take some time to just spend with them and reflect on what's important, what's most important in your life. Next announcement, as we've said on a couple of previous shows, our premium membership is we dropped it down to only $3 a month through the end of the year. I am going to be doing a giveaway in December, probably like an e-gift card or something like that. So anybody that signs up will be eligible for that giveaway. Feel free to go ahead and click the link in the show notes where it talks about becoming a premium subscriber today, and you'll see that the price has already been adjusted down to a low $3 a month. You can read about the different perks that you get becoming a premium subscriber, one of which is an enhanced discounted promo code. And we do have some Real Talk Personal Finance merch. So the holidays are coming up, and we're pretty much in holiday season. So feel free to pick yourself up a discounted premium membership and a nice little promo code to maybe get some gifts for those that you might be giving gifts to and help support the show. We really, really appreciate it. The newsletter, for those that are premium subscribers, you already know this, our e-newsletter is out. We recorded our premium podcast going over the newsletter, so anyone that's premium, you already should have received that. For whatever reason, if you haven't, as always, please email the show, realtalkpersonalfinance@gmail.com, and we will make sure to resend it to you. I want to take a moment to give a few shout-outs to those here in the U.S. I've not done this in a while, but I was taking a look at some of the numbers, and there's 5 locations in the United States that I would like to shout out on today's show. First 2 are in New Jersey, so we have the folks in Lakewood, New Jersey, and South Amboy, New Jersey. Thank you very much for tuning in to the Real Talk Personal Finance Show. I've noticed that your numbers have been climbing pretty steadily, and we do appreciate your listenership. Also want to shout out those in Indianapolis, Indiana, coming up on the charts. We have a really strong listenership in Ashburn, Virginia. And then finally, we saw an uptick in those listening from Lowell, Massachusetts. So thank you to everybody in Lakewood, New Jersey, South Amboy, New Jersey, Indianapolis, Indiana, Ashburn, Virginia, Lowell, Massachusetts, and of course, everybody else. We couldn't do the show without you. We truly appreciate it. We hope that in the spirit of the holiday season, you'll consider supporting us in becoming a premium subscriber to the show. All of the funds that come in for that go right back into the show and allow us to keep producing the content that we are and keeping everything afloat here. So there's that. All right, so today's episode, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it here. Today's episode is designed to give you everything you need to know about the Southwest Companion Pass. And for those that might be relatively new listeners, if you haven't checked it out, I would strongly encourage you to go back in the archives to episode 8 on travel hacking with credit cards featuring the Travel Queen. She and I did an episode way back on just travel hacking in general and points and miles, and I think that would be a useful and somewhat related episode to listen to. So feel free to check that out if you haven't already. But today's episode is going to be specifically on the Southwest Companion Pass. So before we get into the nuts and bolts here, just a little bit of background. Myself and my wife have had some version of the Southwest Companion Pass since probably at least 2019. And so this is something that we pretty much have all the time. One of us does, and we'll talk about that as we go through a little bit. And I would strongly encourage you to listen up to today's show. You may want to save this and listen to it twice because there's a lot of information that we're going to cover, and you want to make sure that you do this correctly to make sure you're getting the maximum benefit for the Companion Pass. So what the fuck is a Southwest Companion Pass? You probably have heard the words Companion Pass when it comes to other airlines that are out there. And I'm not very familiar with some of those other airlines, but from what I gather, it's kind of a one-time thing. So somebody might earn a companion pass on a different airline that allows you to take a companion. There may or may not be restrictions on that, and it's kind of a one-time deal. They fly with you one time, and that's it. That is not what the Southwest Airlines Companion Pass is all about, and that's what makes it so powerful. So what is it? The Southwest Companion Pass allows you to bring a designated companion with you on an unlimited number of flights for free. Woo! You just have to pay the taxes and fees, which usually for domestic flights is $5.60, so it's effectively free for up to 2 years. And we're talking about the OG Southwest Companion Pass. There's another version of this called a promotional Companion Pass. Southwest runs a promo for this from time to time where if you meet the qualifications, you can earn a companion pass, and it just lasts for the remainder of that year, and that's it. That's a promotional companion pass. What we're talking about today is the original, the OG Southwest Companion Pass, where you can have it for up to 2 years. So it lets you bring a designated companion with you, so it's not a one-time pass, as I mentioned, on an unlimited number of flights. This is not a one-time thing, and I can't stress that enough. You can go on literally as many trips as you want to and bring your companion with you absolutely free with the exception of the taxes and fees, like I mentioned. There are no blackout dates. There's no bullshit. You don't have to worry about, do I go to this alliance and then transfer over to this fucking airline and who is affiliated with who? No, put all that shit aside. Southwest Companion Pass, it's straight up no bullshit. If there is an available seat on that flight for you and for your companion, you can book it. No questions asked. No harm, no foul, no nonsense, no bullshit. You can book it. And it's fairly simple, and that's one of the reasons I really like it. Not only is it a powerful benefit, but you don't have to worry about dealing with all the bullshit that you may have to worry about with some of the other airlines out there. Okay? You can change your companion up to 3 times a year. You just have to call Southwest customer service to do that. So you can have, for example, your spouse or significant other can be your companion, and maybe you have a couple of trips planned in the first part of the year after you earn the pass. And then you want to take a trip with some of your buddies or your girlfriends or whatever, say middle to, end of that year. Well, you can go ahead and change your companion to one of your friends, for example. And then maybe you and your spouse or significant other are going to take another trip at the end of the year. You can go ahead and change it back to your spouse or significant other. And that's only 2 changes. So you can designate somebody. That doesn't count as a change. And then you can change up to 3 times per calendar year, each year, your companion. So it's not like, and some people might just have the same companion. You might just say, hey, me and my spouse or me and my significant other are going to fly on this companion pass for the entire year or 2 years, whatever, and not change it. And that's totally fine. But you do have the flexibility to make changes if you want to, as long as it's up to 3 times per calendar year or fewer. You can book your flight with cash or basically a card where you pay for it. Or, what I like to do, you can book it with points. And you can still use the companion pass. And so you'll see how powerful this is and why this is so important. But it doesn't matter how you book your flight as the owner of the companion pass. You can book it and pay for it. You can book it with your points, however you want to do it. And you can still designate your companion that's going to fly with you for free. So that's my favorite thing to do, is book my flight with points and then have, in this example, my wife come as my companion, so she flies free. And literally all we're paying are the taxes and fees. And if we're flying domestically, it's $5.60 each person, each flight. So it's $11.20 out wherever we're going and $11.20 coming back. You can't fucking beat that. It's fantastic. And those of you that have listened to the show for a while know that I'm kind of a Southwest fanboy. So I really do like Southwest Airlines, and it's probably my favorite airline, not just because of the companion pass, but for a lot of other reasons. And so it's a no-brainer for us to have this. All right, so how do you earn this Southwest Companion Pass? If this is something that you're interested in, how do you earn this? There's a couple ways you can do it. The first way is you can fly 100 segments on Southwest in a calendar year. That sounds absolutely miserable to me. Not because it's Southwest, but flying 100 segments just sounds, for most people, myself included, like a little bit much. So I don't know that I would necessarily recommend doing it that way. The other way that you can earn a companion pass is by earning a certain number of rapid reward points in a calendar year. And this number has changed a little bit over time. It's crept up a little bit. It's not changed, astronomically, but it has come up a little bit. And currently, you have to earn 135,000 rapid reward points in a calendar year to qualify for a companion pass. And we're going to tell you here in just a few moments exactly how you might consider doing that. Before we get into that, I just want to describe and talk a little bit about Rapid Rewards. So this is a loyalty program. You can go to Southwest's website and create a free account and become a Rapid Rewards RR, Rapid Rewards member. You're going to have a membership number assigned to you as part of that loyalty program. And you never have to have a credit card or do anything else if you don't want to. You can simply earn points as you fly. Those will count towards your 100 segments if you're crazy enough or fly enough to actually try to do that. But you can simply have that loyalty account. Just like you can have on, many of you know, I'm a big fan of Hyatt and the World of Hyatt. You can have a World of Hyatt account. It is a loyalty account. Think of it kind of like your grocery store card, right? You're a member. It doesn't cost you anything, but it's just kind of a free loyalty program where you can earn some points and perks and stuff like that. So one of the first things that you may want to do if you've never flown Southwest and you are not currently a Rapid Rewards member is you probably want to head over to Southwest Airlines website and go ahead and create a free online Rapid Rewards account. And you will be assigned a Rapid Rewards number. And this is important for the next steps if you choose to go down this path. So that would be the first thing to do. Next, in order to get these 135,000 Rapid Rewards points, you could spend a fuck ton of money on certain cards and earn it that way, which, again, is probably prohibitive for most people. Or the way I think that most people, ourselves included, earn the Southwest Companion Pass is by getting sign-up bonuses on certain cards. And we're going to talk about some of those cards here in just a moment. But these credit card sign-up bonuses are a great way to accumulate the needed points to hit that 135 to get your companion pass, because those sign-up bonus points do count towards earning the companion pass. The reason that today's episode is so timely, coming in at the end of November and really the end of the year, depending on when you're listening to this, you're probably going to listen to this sometime in November or December, if I had to guess, hopefully, of 2023. Because you want to strategically earn these points in a certain time window to maximize the amount of time that you're going to have the companion pass. So right now is a great time, and I'm actually doing this. I literally applied for one of the cards that I'm going to talk about this morning, and I'll be applying for one of the other cards in the not-too-distant future to hit the sign-up bonuses to get a companion pass for 2 years. But this is the time to plan it out. This is the time to do your homework and research and get a little bit of information and plan out, which card or two you're going to get if you're going to get cards, and get ready to go to hit those spending requirements so that you can earn your pass and get your points to post as early in 2024 as possible. So essentially what I'm saying here is now is the time to plan and apply for these cards. Now is not the time to hit the sign-up bonus at the end of the year for these cards. You want to hit those sign-up bonuses in early 2024 to maximize the amount of time that you're going to have the Companion Pass. Why do I say that? Well, with the OG Companion Pass, which is basically what today's show is about, you will earn it for the rest of the calendar year that you earn the pass in, and then all of the following calendar year. So if you somehow earned it, let's say in December of 2023, well, you're just going to have it for the rest of December of 2023 and then all of 2024. So you're basically getting fucked out of 11 months. Instead, if you hit the number of points, the 135, in January of 2024, okay, and you get the pass in January of 2024, you're going to have it for that rest of 2024, that initial year, and then all of the following year, all of 2025. So essentially, you are doubling almost the amount of time that you will have the Companion Pass by strategically earning these points in a certain window. And I hope that makes sense. So we're going to have a referral link in the show notes to these cards. You should be getting the same deal that I'm going to talk about. It's not going to cost you anything to sign up through the show. In fact, we hope that if this is new information to you or if we've shown you something that's valuable, we hope that everybody becomes a premium subscriber. But even if you don't want to subscribe to the show, but you're going to get one of these cards, if you use our link, it will also help out the show at no cost to you. So we certainly hope and appreciate anybody that chooses to do that. So Southwest and Chase have a relationship where there's some co-branded cards. There's a total of 5 different credit cards that you can look at to help you earn these 135,000 points. 3 of those cards are personal cards, and 2 of those cards are business cards. And before I dive into some information about them, I want to say one thing, and we talked about this, I'm pretty sure, at length in episode number 8 on the travel hacking with the Travel Queen. However, this game is only a game worth playing if and only if you pay off all of your credit cards on time and in full without fail every single month. I'll say that again. This is a game that you want to play if and only if you pay off all your credit cards in full every single month. If you are carrying any sort of credit card debt or credit card balances and you are paying credit card interest, this is absolutely not for you. It's just not worth it. I hate to say this, but those who've been listening to the show for a while know this. I'm a financial advisor, right? I'm a certified financial planner, and I work with a lot of different types of clients, and I've seen what some of these things, when they don't go right, do to people. In other words, people that have credit card balances or are in credit card debt, and it's more people than you might think, it can absolutely destroy you. So this is not a game you want to play if you're one of those people. Fortunately, for those of us that are able and willing to play this game correctly and not carry any credit card debt and not pay any credit card interest, it presents a fantastic opportunity to travel for very, very little. And that's what we're trying to do on this show, is optimize the way that we leverage our resources. So I just want to say that. So if you're in credit card debt, please don't do this. Please don't apply for any of these cards. Please do everything you can to try to dig yourself out of that. This is not for you at this time. Save the episode, come back to it. But this is not the time for you. For those that do not have credit card debt and you've always paid your card off in full every single time, every single month, this might be a game worth playing. Okay, so there's our disclaimer. Now, we're going to get into some of these cards. So as I mentioned, there are 3 personal cards. Chase recently changed the bonus amount in terms of the sign-up bonus on these cards. I believe it was 50 or 60,000 points previously. It is now 75,000 bonus points. So that's 75,000 points toward the 135,000 points you need. These are rapid reward points that you need to earn the Companion Pass. Now, of these 3 personal cards, you're only able to have 1 personal card. So you cannot apply at the same time for multiple personal cards and get 75, 75, 75. It's not going to work that way. You're only allowed to have 1. I'm not going to go through the details of every single one, but there are 3. And I have one, the one I applied for this morning, the one that I've actually had previously, I think it was back in 2018, I originally applied for it, is the priority card. So there's 3 different cards. They have 3 different annual fees, and they all work a little bit differently in terms of what you get for them. If you're looking to simply earn the 75,000 point bonus and you don't give a shit about anything else and you just want to get the cheapest annual fee card possible, and this is the one, and I wish she didn't do this, but this is the one that my wife has currently. I think she might have applied for this by accident or clicked the link that I sent her when I had the priority and it didn't scroll and just hit the first one, which was the plus. She has the plus card, okay? And she pays $69 a year for it. You get 2 times points on anything that you spend on Southwest, and there's a couple other perks in there. But really, it's the lowest cost card, but it's also, in my opinion, the shittiest of the 3 personal cards. But that's the one she has. We got Companion Pass on it. COVID happened. They extended the Companion Pass. Hers is actually going to expire December 31st of this year, which is the reason that I applied today for the priority card, because I'm getting ready to get mine going for 2024 and 2025. So there's the plus card. It's $69 a year. I wouldn't recommend that, but if you're fucking cheap and you want lowest cost possible, don't care about the card perks, get that one. And I'm not saying you're fucking cheap if you're listening to this, honey. I'm just saying that for the listeners out there, I think you applied on the link that I sent you and I didn't tell you to scroll to the priority card. So sorry about that. The middle one is the Premier card. That one has a fee of $99, a little bit more, middle of the road. In my opinion, the value still isn't as good as it could be for that card. The priority card, which is the one, again, that I applied for today and the one that I've had in the past, is the most expensive at $149 a year. And you might say, why the fuck would I pay $149 a year when I can pay $69 or $99 a year? And here's why. On the priority card, just like the Premier, you're going to get 3x points on any money you spend on Southwest flights. And hopefully you're not spending a lot of money on Southwest flights, because we're going to be doing this on points in our Companion Pass, right? But you do get 3x points. This is how you get your basic $149, rounds up to $150 back. Every year on the anniversary, the card anniversary, you're going to get 7,500 anniversary points. Okay, at a value of 1 cent per point, that's $75 right there. That's $75 of your $150 or your $149 back to you. The other thing you're going to get on the card every year is $75 in flight credits. So that's the other half of your annual fee back to you. You essentially get, quote unquote, refunded, if you will, by the 7,500 anniversary points and the $75 flight credit. The flight credit can be used to offset things like taxes and fees. So I mentioned on domestic flights, you're typically looking at $5.60 for taxes and fees each way. So $11.20 on a round trip. If you charge that on your Southwest card and you have the Southwest Priority card, then Chase automatically, the way the system is coded, will credit you back for those taxes and fees, right? And they'll do that up to $75 a year. So you get your money back just on those 2 things alone. Then there's some other benefits, but the biggest one that I like is the priority card, not the other ones, but the priority card comes with 4 upgraded boardings. And if you've never flown Southwest before, they board by grouping, right? So there's the A group, there's the B group, there's the C group, right? And there's a couple in the middle for like family and people that need extra time and stuff like that. But it's either A, B, or C. And anyone that's ever checked into a Southwest flight knows you could literally be sitting there and watch the clock tick to the minute that's 24 hours before your flight and pound on the check-in button like a fucking monkey on your phone screen and still somehow end up in the B group or the shitty end of the A group, right? Because everyone's trying to just flood and check in, and some people have early check-in and whatnot. So, the better positioning you have, the sooner you can board the aircraft, and it's general open seating on Southwest. So there's no assigned seats. So if you're in the A group, you're going to board before the B group, and you sit wherever the hell you want. If you're in the C group, like Cube Crusher and I were, because we checked in like 15 minutes after the 24-hour before the flight. So we checked in like 23 hours and 45 minutes before our return flight from Vegas. And we ended up in the fucking C group, which meant that we both ended up sitting in the middle of people we didn't fucking know. I hate sitting in the middle. You might like sitting in the middle. That's fine. I like the aisle seat, right? So you do whatever you want. But the point is, the better grouping or boarding segment, if you will, that you have. In other words, you want to be an A, maybe B, but certainly not C, right? These 4 upgraded boardings on this priority card allow you to get in A1 through 15. So you're typically within the first 15 people to board the plane. And what do most of those people do? They choose the best seats. And that's going to be very subjective, but a lot of people like to go for the seats with a little bit more leg room. A lot of times they want to sit in the exit row. Sometimes those chairs are spaced out so you don't have somebody right on top of you. So this allows you in a situation like that where I'm like, fuck, we forgot to check in, or we checked in 15 minutes late, and now we're in the fucking C group. I don't want to sit in between two people. Guess what? When you go to the airport, right, you go up to the counter when you go to drop your bag off. Hey, are there any seats available in A1 through A15? I'd like to purchase an upgraded boarding. You put it on your Southwest card, boom, you get reimbursed. It's free. Southwest and Chase will refund that back to you. And I've seen that cost anywhere. Usually it's around $40. Sometimes it could be $75, for each one of those. So again, even if it was $40 times 4, that's $160 of value right there on the card that you can get back for upgraded boardings. If you need to, right? You can check in as normal, and if you get A group or low B group, maybe you're fine. But if something happens where you end up in the C group and you're like, shit, you can go ahead and use that. So I really, really like that feature of the priority card. You get 4 of those a year. So all that's included in the $149. And then a lot of the cards, this one included, have things like, 25% cash back on in-flight purchases. So if you don't have any drink coupons and you're boozing on the plane and you want to throw it on your Southwest card, right? It's basically, 25% kickback on anything you spend on the booze. And half the time they don't charge you anyway, but when they do, you get a little bit of a kickback. So I like the priority card and the personal cards. You got Plus, Premier, and Priority. I like Priority. If you're cheap, go with Plus, and you can read about all the benefits of the other cards and make the best decision for you. And I don't just say that I like Priority because it's the highest priced card. If you use the link in the show notes and you apply through us, again, it doesn't cost you a thing. It doesn't matter which card you get. We get the same number of bonus points or referral points for those cards. But I just, again, personally like and have used in the past the priority card. So that would be my recommendation on the personal cards, okay? Now, they have 2 business cards, all right? You can only have one personal card at a time, but you can have both business cards if you want to. And I'm not saying to do this. Quite frankly, personally, I am not going to do this, but I am going to apply for one of the 2 business cards. And since there's only 2, we'll go through them here really quick. There's the performance card, performance business card, right? You get 4 times points on Southwest purchases. They give you 9,000 points on your anniversary, which is valued probably at 1 cent per point, maybe $90 or so. You get the 4 upgraded boardings, just like you get on the priority personal card. And then another thing, if you don't have another card that does this, I actually have an IHG card that does this, so I don't really care about this that much. But if you've never gone through TSA pre-check before, you ever see when you go to the airport and you're flying domestically and there's like the general line, right? We call it Gen Pop. And then we have the fucking TSA pre-check line. And it's like everybody with their nose in the air, they just kind of skip the rest of the line and they don't have to take their shoes off and they can leave their belts on and they walk around, like, hey, look at me. Not that you want to be like those people, but it's a really cool fucking line to go through because it saves you a ton of time. In fact, Cube Crusher does not have pre-check. I had pre-check. We were flying out to Vegas. I was able to go through pre-check, take a shit, come out, fill up a water bottle, and drink half of it, chilling on the bench before he ever got through security. So it's worth it. Anyway, on the business card, the performance card, they have TSA pre-check or global entry. If you do a lot of international travel, you may want to look into global entry. It's a little bit different, but it also includes pre-check. They'll credit you back up to $100. And I believe those are good for 4 to 5 years. If I'm not mistaken, I'd have to go back and look, but I know it's several years that those pre-check and global entry are good for, and they will credit it back on that card. So this business card, the performance card, has all that. If you spend $5,000 in the first 3 months on this business performance card, you will get 80,000 bonus points that count towards the 135,000 rapid rewards points that you need. The fee for this card is $199. It's a little bit steep, but it is what it is. If, you want that card and you spend a fair amount of money in your business and you want the extra 20K points, fine. And again, I didn't mention this yet, but after, I'm not saying to churn these cards, but after you've had them for a little while, if you want to cancel them, you still get to keep your rapid rewards points. So once you earn these points on these cards and your statement cycle closes with Chase, those points immediately get transferred over to your rapid rewards account on Southwest, and they are going to remain there. So even if you get rid of the credit card, you don't lose these rapid rewards points, and that's important. So that's the first business card. Quite frankly, personally, I'm not going to get that one because, again, I have pre-check. I'm going to get the priority personal card, so I already have the upgraded boardings. I don't really need 4 more. And I don't want to pay the $199 fee for an extra 20K points. And I don't want to spend an extra $2,000 in the first 3 months, quite frankly. So what I'm probably going to get is the Premier business card. And the Premier Business Card is only a $99 fee, so you save $100. You get 3x points on Southwest purchases. You get 6,000 anniversary points, which again, valued at 1 cent per point, it's about $60. And you get 2 early bird check-ins. This is a little different than the upgraded boardings. The upgraded boardings puts you A1 to A15. The early bird check-in is basically like having a fucking ghost in your phone that can click the button before any human can click the button and somehow get you checked in pretty quickly, and you'll usually end up, I believe, in the A's, in the A group. You may not be A1 to A15, but you might be like A30 or something like that, or A40. It's still preferential ordering as far as the order in which you get on the plane. So that's included in the Premier card. There are 60,000 bonus points available with this card. And in order to earn those bonus points, you must spend $3,000 in the first 3 months. Okay? So not bad. If you look, and what I'm, again, doing is I'm going to have the personal priority card. So that's going to get me 75,000 bonus points because, again, Chase just increased that. And then I'm going to get the Premier Business Card, and that's going to give me another 60,000 bonus points. And what do you notice about the sum of those two numbers? That's right. 75,000 bonus points plus 60,000 bonus points equals exactly 135,000 points. And as we've said earlier, 135,000 Rapid Rewards points gets you Companion Pass. Boom, you're there. Now, some people are going to say, so wait a minute. You're telling me that there's this, great benefit as far as this Companion Pass thing, but I got to get 2 credit cards and pay 2 annual fees and spend thousands of dollars in order to get this. And it might sound ludicrous at first. But here's the thing. I'm talking about simply channeling your spending on money that you are going to spend anyway. This could be anything from your utility bills, your groceries, your gas, your holiday gifts, whatever holidays you celebrate. If you're buying gifts for people, that counts. Going out to eat, whatever. Simply channeling your spending for a couple of months on these cards to make sure that you hit the spending requirement to earn the bonus points. I'm not saying to go out and spend $3,000+ on something that you don't need. That is absolutely not the intent of this. It's about being intentional with our spending and spending money on things we were going to buy anyway, but strategically and intentionally putting them on certain cards in a certain way to earn these points in a certain time frame to benefit from, in this case, the Companion Pass. That's all we're doing. And as I mentioned earlier, we're paying it off on time, in full, every time, no matter what. Okay? So that's how I am planning on earning Companion Pass for 2024 and 2025. I think the personal card, and by the way, I don't think I mentioned this, but on any of the cards, on the personal cards, if I'm not mistaken, to get the 75,000 bonus points, you must spend $3,000 within the first 3 months. Just like you need to spend $3,000 in the first 3 months on the Premier Business Card. But on the personal cards, and I'm actually looking at this on my phone just to double check as I'm recording this. So the Southwest Rapid Rewards Plus card, it is, where did it go here, son of a bitch? $69 as we talked about after qualifying purchases. Here, I'm going to hit compare real quick, and then we're going to compare to the priority card, and then we're also, I think it gives us the third one, we're going to compare to the Premier card. And we're going to put these side by side. I just want to double check because I don't want to give you guys bad information. Here we go. Earn 75,000 points after you spend 3,000 on purchases in the first 3 months from account opening. So that is the case for the Plus. That is the case for the Priority. And let me scroll down here. That is also the case for the Premier. So any of the personal cards, it's spend 3,000 in the first 3 months. All right. Now that we've talked about we're going to pay them off no matter what, and now that we talked about we're going to use it to spend money on shit that we were going to buy anyway and just put them on these cards. Here's the thing. Going back to what I said earlier, you want to make sure you're very strategic about your timing. You do not want to get the card now and then spend all the money in December and have your statement close and the points post in December because you're going to fuck yourself out of a year of Companion Pass. You want to do your planning and get the card now, but you don't want to hit these spending requirements until January because you want the points to post in January, and therefore you will have basically a whole extra year of being able to benefit from this Companion Pass. So I'm applying for it now, and I may spend a little bit of money on it now, but I'm absolutely going to make sure I don't come anywhere near the 3,000 until January. So if you're doing For example, some Christmas shopping for those that celebrate Christmas. You might want to throw a few Christmas gifts on there. Just make sure that you're not going to come close to hitting that 3,000. And then fire it right back up in early January and go ahead and hit the bonus at that point. So you're going to get the $75,000 on the personal, the $60,000 in my case on the Premier. That's $135,000. That gets you Companion Pass. And the money that you're spending to hit these bonuses, $3,000 and $3,000, so $6,000, is also going to earn you at least that much in points. So you'll have the $135,000 that gets you the Companion Pass, and then $6,000 minimum on top of that. So that's $141,000. Those are points that can be used. So it's not like you get 135,000 points and then trade them in for a Companion Pass. No. It just tracks like how many points did you earn. Those are yours to keep. You can use them. Cool. You earned 135. Great. And then we're going to throw you, this is Southwest talking, we're going to throw you a Companion Pass to use. But you still keep that 135, or if you count the spending to get there, we'll say 141,000 points. And so you can use those points to book flights, like I mentioned at the top of the show. So you can book your flight with points, and then you can designate a companion and only pay the taxes and fees. That's how you want to do this. People say earn them and burn them. Earn your points and burn your points, because just like everything else in life, they will at some point get devalued. In fact, there was an article I read not too long ago about Southwest, and they made a big deal out of seemingly nothing, where they're saying that they're going to, I think it was starting next year, essentially devalue the points by, it came out to be roughly 4%. And in the grand scheme of things, I don't really think that's all that bad, right? So just the value in terms of what they're going to charge you points-wise for a particular flight might be going up by about 4%. All right, fine. So you don't want to hoard hundreds of thousands of points for years and years and years. You want to earn them and you want to use them. So use these cards strategically, hit your sign-up bonuses, get your Companion Pass, then use your points to book the flight, and then add your companion on, and you're both effectively flying for free minus the taxes and fees. And oh, by the way, like I mentioned, if you have, for example, the Priority card, you have a $75 flight credit. So essentially, you're going to get those taxes and fees rebated to you in the form of that flight credit over time, which is one of the nice things, again, that I like about that card. Also, as I mentioned, you can cancel these cards in later years and keep the points. You don't want to open it, hit the sign-up bonus, and then immediately dump the card, right? That can potentially get you in trouble with some of these card issuers, in this case Chase, where they could flag your account, they could say that your credit card churning or whatever. You typically want to have the card for a little while. And again, you know, in my case, I really do like that Priority card, so I'm going to want to keep that while I'm using the Companion Pass, because I'm going to want the flight credits. I'm going to want the anniversary points. I'm going to want those upgraded boarding opportunities. So you're going to want to hang on to them for a little bit. But the key here is you can qualify for these bonus points as long as you've not received a bonus in the last 24 months. Every card's different. I think I did an episode before on the Sapphire. That one, I believe, is 48 months, so that's a lot longer. You have to be very careful there. This one is only 24 months. So I think I opened it in end of 2018. I believe I earned the bonus in 2019. I kept the card for a couple of years. I think just over a year ago in 2022 is when I canceled it. And here we are just over a year later. I'm going to go ahead and reapply, or actually I already have reapplied for it. I'm just waiting for the card to physically come in for the personal card for the Priority, okay? So you just need to make sure you haven't earned the bonus in the past 24 months. This is where some people call it Player 1, Player 2 comes into play. So if you're in a relationship or even if you're not, and you want to like strategically do this with one of your best friends or something, I'm sure you can. It doesn't matter who you designate as your companion, but you always want to make sure that one of you has Companion Pass and the other one is flying for free. So what we're going to do is I'm working on earning this Companion Pass for 2024, 2025. My wife's expires at the end of 2023, and like I said, she got the shitty Plus card. I'm probably going to have her just go ahead and dump that card. Right? We're going to use my Priority card, and then when I get eventually the Premier Business card, we're going to use that and fly on my Companion Pass for 2 years. And then after that, when I get ready to potentially get rid of mine a couple years later, then she's going to go ahead. She won't have earned the bonus in the past 24 months. And assuming the rules are basically still the same, she would go ahead and start her strategy to earn the Southwest Companion Pass. So in my opinion, if Southwest is an airline that you like and they fly anywhere near you and you do a decent amount of domestic travel and even some international travel, we've traveled internationally We've gone to the Dominican, we've gone to Mexico, we've gone to different places on Southwest. There's certain places they don't fly, but certain international flights and certainly a bunch of domestic flights, if you're going to do a decent amount of traveling, you want to make sure that one of you almost always has a companion pass. And even if there's a short window where neither of you have it, again, that's where these points come into play, because you can always use your points to book. Like we just booked a trip not too long ago. She has the companion pass, but this trip we booked is for next year in 2024. Well, I don't have my companion pass yet. We both had a little bit of points in our account. So we used some points to book. And then actually, believe it or not, I'm going to probably go ahead and get a discounted Southwest e-gift card. They're supposed to be doing a Black Friday deal where you could buy these at Costco or Sam's Club or whatever. They do e-gift cards online, right? So you can get a little e-gift card discount and purchase those flights with the discounted gift cards. And then when I get my companion pass, the beauty of Southwest is as long as it's 10 minutes or more before the flight, you can cancel and get your points back. Or if you paid, cash or gift card, you can get a flight credit back, right? So you're not going to lose that. And you can always just kind of hold your spot and then rework the deal later. And I've done that a couple times where I book a trip for a certain number of points, and then as it gets a little bit closer, I'll periodically check on the app to see how many points it is at that time. And if it's a better deal, I can go ahead and book and then just cancel my first one. No problem. And you basically get the difference back in your points. So again, Southwest is very, very flexible in terms of the way that they run things. And I'm a huge, huge fan. So however you do it, you just want to be strategic about it. So to recap today's episode, Vegas was cool. I'll be back out there in a couple months. If you want to come out, email the show, realtalkpersonalfinance@gmail.com. Have a very happy Thanksgiving with friends and family and enjoy your time. Premium. Only $3 a month to the end of the year. Doing a drawing in December. Feel free to go ahead and subscribe. Lots of benefits to doing that. Lakewood, New Jersey, South Amboy, New Jersey, Indianapolis, Indiana, Ashburn, Virginia, and Lowell, Massachusetts are climbing up the charts, so thank you. Southwest Companion Pass, designated companion to go with you on an unlimited number of flights. It's not a one-time pass, for free for up to 2 years. No bullshit, no blackout, no nonsense, right? You can change it up to 3 times a year, your companion. Easiest way to earn it, get 135,000 Rapid Rewards points. If you haven't, go to Southwest Airlines website, create a free account, become a Rapid Rewards member. And you're going to want to hang on to that number. If you go to apply for these cards, it's going to ask you for your Rapid Rewards number. They'll actually print it on your credit card. So once you create that account, make sure you know what that number is and put it on your credit card application. And that way there, when they print the card and send it to you, it will be on the card itself. Easiest way to hit this, through sign-up bonuses. If you have a business where you're going to spend some money on it, get a business card. You can get one of the 3 personal cards. I recommend Priority. If you hit bonuses on both, you'll get the 135,000 points. You'll have your companion pass. You'll have some extra points to use. Keep the cards for a little bit. Don't immediately churn them. And as long as you haven't gotten the bonus in the past 24 months, you're good to go. And if you can, do the player 1, player 2 strategy. So in a nutshell, that's what we covered on today's episode. I hope you found this helpful. Again, please check the show notes for the referral link. We will try to place a referral link to the Southwest credit card in the show notes. When you click on it, and I actually did this, I had my wife text me the referral link this morning. Okay, and I clicked on it, and the first card that popped up was the Plus, which is the shit one that I don't like. You must scroll down, and you will see the other options on there, which is what I had to do to make sure that I was applying for the Priority card. And once I selected it, up came a picture of it, and at the top it said, you are applying for the Priority card. And that's when I knew that I was in the right place. So it's the same link, just make sure you're scrolling to the card that you actually want to apply for once you click that link. And then the last thing, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but according to Southwest's website, when I looked at it last, this promotion of the 75,000 bonus points, the enhanced number of points on these personal cards, is set to expire on December 11th, 2023. I don't know if they're going to extend it or not. So you have, a few weeks here, prime time to really figure out if you're going to try to go for this or not and get your application in. Just don't hit the spending bonuses until 2024, early 2024. So I hope that's helpful. Thanks for tuning into the show. We really appreciate it. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, feel free to email the show, realtalkpersonalfinance@gmail.com, and we will see you in the next episode.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.